Android tablets are something of an unusual product. No one's quite convinced that Google's operating system has been adequately optimized for big displays, but slowly and surely it is improving. One thing you can say about them is that they're normally good value for money. Never has that been truer than with the ASUS ZenPad S8. It's a small portable tablet that only costs $200 and has a 2K resolution screen. For the money, there's not too much to complain about. I'm Cam from 9to5 Google, and this is my review. Kudos has to go to ASUS for the build and design of the ZenPad S, mostly. It's incredibly slim, with rounded corners and edges to make it feel like nothing in your hands. There's no way to hold it where it's uncomfortable, and most of the edge is covered in a grippy plastic material, which feels great. The chrome trim around the front makes the device attractive, as does the metal panel on the back, finished with a hairline brushed effect. Even the chrome ASUS logos aren't so obtuse as to turn you off from the aesthetic appeal. There's only one part of the design I really don't like, and that's the buttons. There are only two of them, that's the volume rocker and power button, and they're just wrong. The power button gives no feedback at all, and there's no audible or tangible click to confirm that you've pressed it. Instead, you press hard and hope that it registers. This may seem like a minor complaint, and it is, but I still noticed and I was still pretty frustrated by the experience. While there was one standout negative in terms of design, the same cannot be said of the display. It's fantastic. It's only 8 inches diagonally, but packs in a resolution of 1536 by 2048. It's an IPS panel and delivers some great quality imagery. Colours are great regardless of where they are in the spectrum, and being LCD based, blacks aren't as deep as I'd like, and they come off more as dark grey than pitch black, but still, it's not bad. At arm's length, all content looks nice and sharp. Bring it close and you'll start to see some slight jaggedness in text. It'd be an outright lie if I said I noticed it during regular use though. It was only when I examined closely on purpose for the sake of this review that I spotted it. What I did like is that this is a 4:3 ratio display and not 16:9 like some tablets. That means you still get a decent enough experience watching videos, as well as getting good looking apps and a good reading experience with books or web browsing. At times, the quad-core Intel Atom processor in the ZenPad S performs like a high-end device. It can be smooth and stutter-free and fluid, but that's only some of the time. The model I was sent is equipped with 2GB of RAM, which may not be quite enough for a 2K screen device with multiple processors running at once. If there are any ongoing background processes going on, then whatever you're doing primarily on the screen, whether that's transitions or animations, start to skip frames or lag. That said, it's nowhere near as bad as I was expecting for a $200 tablet. It wasn't bad enough that I'd want to put the tablet down or become frustrated. For the most part, it did well and handled all the tasks I threw at it. If you're at all worried though about the performance and it just has to be top notch for you, then there is a 4GB RAM model which should be smoother. Battery life is a similar tale. If it can actually get through the promised 8 hours use without dying, I'd be surprised. In use, the 15.2 watt-hour battery seems to drain relatively quickly in use, particularly when gaming. Still, it should get you between 3 and 4 hours of screen on time over the course of a day, but even with light use I had to plug it in every other day, sometimes every day, which is a lot for a tablet. And we have to mention the software, because ASUS has loaded the ZenPad with a lot of its own apps and software, which I'm sure it thinks are all necessary. For the early adopter, the installed software might come in very useful, but I can tell you with some certainty that they aren't all useful. In all, I counted 42 after I deleted some of the pre-installed games. For me, I already have third-party apps I prefer and wanted to install, leaving me with many duplicate apps that were just taking up space and screen estate. And that for me wasn't good enough. I have to mention the 5-megapixel camera on the back because it has one. It takes pictures, and that's about as in-depth as I'm going to get in this review. There's really not much to point out here. They're decent enough and it works. But pictures can be a bit grainy and focus can be slow. In all, the tablet is great value for money. It would be great if it was slightly thicker to fit in a more spacious battery. I'd have no issue dropping $200 or £200 for this though, if I was looking for a budget tablet running Android. I'm at Cam Bunton on Twitter, you can find me there, and leave me your comments, questions and suggestions in the comments down below, and I'll get to them as and when I can. I'll see you again soon.